everybody, it is Calxiyn and Hunter here, and today we are bringing you some RWBY news directly from Kerry, the man, the myth, the legend, I don't know. You guys may not have seen it if you don't follow Kerry on Twitter, and so that's why we are here to bring you the news. And so Kerry says hello, hope you had a wonderful holiday season, looking toward a new year. 2023 can only be better, right? ... Right? Questionably.
That's a little on the nose,
Right?
seeing as everything that has happened to Rooster Teeth in the past year.
Well, one way to hopefully kick off a great 2023 is to give y'all some RWBY Volume 9 updates. Right off the bat, this post is not about the release date quite yet, and that will be coming soon. And I don't just mean soon, but more like we'll have more info in January soon. That being said, production is going well. They're happy. We don't need to read all that. That's okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're happy in spite of everything you have seen from dozens and dozens of people online. There is no war in Rooster Teeth.
They talk about Yisa getting promoted to episodic director, and yeah, that's good news, obviously.
And I believe she used to do, well,
Recorded
they say,
by Arizal,
which is so
you know,
funny because it's like,
we
remember
never
that
know,
thing
remember
they
that?
never did anything with?
But yeah, and
That
so
kind of looked into,
that's
like,
good.
nothing
You know,
happened.
she's been promoted, so they're giving like some good news before they give like the questionable news. Here's the thing that's freaking a couple people out, I guess you could say, right? And so Jeff is retiring and Casey's making the songs for RWBY Volume 9. And so this is a statement from Jeff himself. Over the last 12 years, I worked on music a lot, like a real lot. I'm glad I did, and I'm happy overall with the music I made alongside my partners. In the last few years, I started to realize I wasn't really accomplishing new things and that I was missing out on a lot of other parts of my life that I didn't have time or energy for while working obsessively on music. I asked myself how I would feel if I worked on RWBY Volume 9 if I busted my ass for another year and put out another good album that fans enjoyed. I would feel the same as I felt after all other releases, and that's the problem. I want my life to be one of change, growth, and journeys. To me, that's what creativity is about. I've been retired from music since releasing Volume 8, and now I don't see myself going back to it. I mean, who knows? Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but I'm not stressing over that right now. I'm using my time and energy and creativity in other ways. Then he goes on to say, like, there's no negative situation.
Yes.
You know, you don't have to go posting your rats on 4chan, okay, about like some beef between like Jeff and Rooster Teeth and whatever. So now Casey is going to take over. Kerry goes on to say that Casey will be taking over with Martin Gonzalez, who is working as a composer, who worked as a composer for Volume 8, and they're going to be working together. They posted a nice little picture of them on Twitter and everything, and so yeah, now that that's out of the way, I think it's time for Hunter and I to give some thoughts. I think
Editorializing?
Yeah, I think that we should give some thoughts now,
I'll
right?
say for the Issa stuff, I'm excited about that, generally. Like,
Good.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
She seemed to really she seemed to have done some, like, very good work. But it makes sense that, like, we are kind of slowly, we're seeing a refreshing.
Yeah, like new people are
Yeah.
joining at those positions.
So
right?
far, when they've introduced new people, it's come out well. Like, when they introduced Kirsty and Eddie, like, the writing improved, I would argue.
Some people would disagree with that, but I agree with Hunter. I think
Yeah.
that adding new people was an improvement. Some people really hate Eddie and Kirsty.
And those people are
And those people
incorrect.
can be wrong. But yeah, and so I think that, like, bringing new people on is always a good thing.
Yes.
You know, like a fresh pair of eyes and kind of like a fresh take and everything in terms of the direction of things. So I think that's good. I do like, though, I feel like that, I don't know, Kerry was just trying to soften the blow or something, because that's not usually something that gets, like, a community post announcement. I feel like he was just like, here's the good news, you know what I mean? Like, trying to throw something positive in there.
Because Issa is kind of like I've seen her on podcasts.
Right.
So I think because people know her,
Maybe it's
they
a
mention
little bit
that.
more of a bigger deal.
But
right?
Jeff, when people announced Jeff was leaving Rooster Teeth, and apparently like music in general, which I was sort of surprised by. Yeah, it was a lot more of like a kind of a shocked, please don't go reaction.
Yeah,
which I don't know is entirely justified.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with Hunter, too. I'm really struggling here to figure out how to say this, because I feel like people may take it the wrong way, and somebody will get, like, mad at me, but I don't think that this is necessarily a bad thing. And that's not to say that, like, Jeff has not done good work, but I think that, like, Volume 8 soundtrack was noticeably a little less... Like, it felt like it released right on the 31st last year. I don't know if you remember. So it kind of felt like, oh, we're contractually obligated to make sure we get this out. Or even, like, just that obligation you have inside your heart to get something out by the 31st, you know? Like, I'm working on a video right now and I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted this to release on New Year's. Like, maybe it wasn't even a Rooster Teeth obligation, but just that obligation you feel that we do this thing every year and to get it out before the finish line. Like, a lot of people were disappointed that Cinder's song did not get any extension, like it was just as it was, and they had some like struggles last year as well, like some personal family struggles, and so I just think that like, I think that it's evident, even though Jeff has always done a good job, I think it is evident in the soundtrack that he does seem a little burnt out, right? And I think that like it's good to take a break, not beg him, not like beg him to stay, you know what I mean? And so I don't want people to take me saying that in the wrong way, where they're like, oh, Cal's glad that Jeff's gone. Like, she thought that his music was bad. She hated him. It's like, I'm happy he's taking a break.
Yeah,
like,
that he can do things that fulfill him and we can get someone else and they can continue his sort of good work.
Yeah, as somebody who is obviously younger and does not have, like, Jeff's experience, right? Like, someone who is going through an artistic, like, creative program. I just get something that I didn't get before, and I could see it. Like, I can see what he's saying.
To someone going through artistic burnout,
but then also like I can see it more, like in terms of what he means, that like everything is like the same, and the same is good, like in terms of giving consistent quality, but it's not different. You know what I mean? Like things aren't changing. It doesn't
attract you in the same way.
And so I think that like Volume 7, I feel like all the collaborations they had, like that was a major change, and that really spiced things up. But then like Volume 8 kind of went back to like the status quo of it. So I totally just get what he's saying. And I think that if he feels that, I think it's good. You know what I mean? And like Casey, her band had a song in Volume 8, and I thought the song was really good, you know? And so
Casey's very talented, and like, it'll be interesting to see that. How do you feel about the tone of RWBY changing? Because you have always been more into RWBY music than I have.
I feel two things. Like, sometimes it's just time to move on. You know what I mean? It's time to let new people do things, but I think the perk, I guess, that they have is that Casey, like, knows her father's sound that well. I mean, I don't know the extent of, like, his, like, mentorship over her. Like, I know Jeff's a teacher. Like, he teaches at, like, a university or something, like a music college, and she also went to university, I think, for music or something like similar, right? She still has his experience with her, like, carried on. It's not like a completely new person, you know what I mean? It's like just passing the torch. It's like an apprentice.
There's a sense of
the blacksmith, and the blacksmith trains his daughter, and then his daughter is the next blacksmith, you know what I mean?
Or like some sort of Williams is a, let's use the word continuity.
Yeah.
There's a continuity.
There's a continuity, and there's also like the apprenticeship. I don't know. Do you understand what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. There's definitely a sense of continuity and a sense of like, okay, well, Casey knows RWBY. She's worked on RWBY since she was like 13 years old.
So there's probably going to be some style consistency between the music. Which on one hand, it's like, okay, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, as someone who is like, I like a lot of the RWBY music, but as someone who's never as much a big a fan of it as other people, part of me was like, would it be interesting to see a dramatic departure in music?
I would hope...
In the type of music that gets played.
I would hope, I guess, that it stays consistent in terms of people, like what people consider like the best RWBY music, like the ones that divulge a lot of like, you know, extra information to the narrative. I don't necessarily think that it needs to keep the same sound, but I would like, hopefully, that they will be able to keep the same themes in terms of something that I think like a lot of
communicating about the story and the characters and the themes.
Exactly, because like that's how I feel like RWBY music is kind of different from like anime OPs or like something like that, because a lot of anime OPs are not written for the show. Like now that's sort of changing, but like originally, like something like Colors from Code Geass, okay? That was not written for Code Geass. It's just a song. They just wanted a funky song, right? Like what always made RWBY different was this idea that the songs are actually contributing to the narrative in some way and are being written for the show. And so I think that even if the sound stays different, my hope would be that they look at what RWBY fans consider the best, like quote unquote the best songs, and it's not even necessarily the sound of those songs, it's that the sound captures the emotions of the character. At least that's what people think.
It becomes a narrative.
Yeah, like something like Sacrifice. A lot of people associate that with Cinder, and it also has her leitmotif. in it. And so I just feel like that's going to be the important thing. And you can do, like, you could do a classical Cinder leitmotif song, like, you know what I mean? I think that you're talking about genre, right? Like, you could, they made Bumblebee a country song. The genre of the music, I don't really care that much about, because RWBY's music genre has always kind of been like somewhere in between like pop rock, anime-ish, and like somewhere
pop rock, rap, and then balladry.
Like something in that like zone, right? And so I feel like that I would like to see a lot of different stuff in the same vein. As a finishing thought, it's so hard. I don't want to say I think that it's a good thing, like, you know what I mean?
But it is.
It is a good thing. I think it is a good thing.
That it's good for, because Jeff is like a real, like, you've met him. He's a really lovely guy.
Yeah, I've met both of them before.
I remember back like when we were in high school, we did like some kind of fundraiser.
Oh yeah.
And then he gave us money back when we were like nobody.
Yeah.
And so he was always
that.
like, so he's like a really lovely person.
Yeah, he's always seemed like a chill,
like just a good vibe coming off that
man
in waves.
I'm like, so I don't know how old he is, but like, man
Big
deserves to retire. Like, you know what I mean?
And if he wants to do something not music, then I'm really happy for him that he gets to like follow what makes him happy. And I think that he's leaving it in good hands.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of looking forward to like how RWBY, because it makes sense, like RWBY is changing a lot.
Yeah, I think that people shouldn't necessarily take it, because they definitely will. I don't think that people should take this as like a doomsday sign. People get older and they move on, and it's like Jeff is probably, I don't know, in his 50s, and if he's been like learning music since he was a kid, that's at least a good 40 years, even if not professional.
And also, he's been working on this one project for like, how long has RWBY been around for?
And like
over
to put out an album like every single year, right?
That's insane. No musician does that.
It probably hasn't been healthy either.
No,
right?
Probably not.
And like to force yourself, because it has to come out at a certain time. And I know that's life, right? Like I know that's if it's your job, you kind of have to. But like if he retires and then he can do whatever he wants. So I wouldn't say that this is like a Rooster Teeth doomsday thing.
No.
I think it has more to do
of all the
with
news to come out of Rooster Teeth, this is like the ones that I felt like, oh, shit's okay.
Yeah. I feel like that it's just more to do with probably the personal circumstances that they were going through when they were making the Volume 8 soundtrack. Like stuff like that can just make you realize, I don't know.
Maybe I should like reevaluate my priorities and do something else.
Like life is short, right?
Sure.
Like we have to, you know, do more than just one thing or work on one show.
But then again, of course, we don't know this
but
person,
we don't know.
So it would be incorrect to specify.
Yeah. So we don't know. But I don't think that this is a bad thing.
No, I don't think it's a bad
thing.
I generally feel very positive about this.
But yeah, all the best to him. I think that Casey's gonna carry the torch just fine. You know, I think that like
And
she
Martin.
understands the show. Yeah, I don't know him.
Who this guy is,
I don't know who this guy is, but that's okay.
Does he have split neo hair? I think not.
But yeah, like I think that it's in good hands. That's all that we need to say. Is I think that it's in good hands. And I don't think that people should be worrying too much. I always think that change is good. And this is the volume where the change is going to be, you know what I mean? Like this is going to be a whole new volume and a whole different sort of situation and like breaking the status quo. So it kind of makes sense that the music should also kind of change as well. But yeah, I'm excited. I want to see what they're, you know, what they're working on for Volume 9 and stuff. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed. Thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court. Have a happy new year, guys.
Oh yeah.
And we will see you in the next one. Bye.